Listen wherever you get your podcast.
I love that one. I think that's actually the voice that we should use now we should do ads in a sexy fake voice.
Sexy baby voice.
Yeah. Divorced parents get back together after 15 years.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Guys We Fcked.
It's the anti-slut shaming podcast. I got British.
No, keep doing it.
Who are you? I'm Corinne Fisher.
I'm Krystyna Hutchinson.
Welcome to the show.
I hope you're having a great day, daddy. I mean, fuckers. Okay, guys, if
Corinne's
you want
character sounded like she was dying.
Yeah, like her death, her dying wish, a child's dying wish.
Literally,
a
like
British child's dying wish.
That's what happens when I have to take away my masculinity. I felt like I had no control and that I was dying internally. So good read, Michael.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Welcome to the show.
If you want to email us, the email address is sorryaboutlastnightshow@gmail.com. Today's subject line: divorced parents get back together after 15 years.
How are you going to make it about you? Go.
Let's see how long it takes.
I have a story that I wanted to share with you, and I'm curious to hear your perspectives. I'm at a point now where I find the whole situation pretty funny, and I'd be interested to know if you or any of your listeners have been through something similar, or if you know anybody else who has. I'm a Brit living in New Zealand. I'm not even going to try.
I wanted to say cranky, and I'm like, that's not the wrong.
Yeah.
That's Australia.
Narkeef. Like, so when we talk to my dog Kevin, we talk in a New Zealand accent. We're like, Narkeef, Keef, Narkeef.
Do you feel like he
hates? Well, he actually doesn't hate it.
What are people from New Zealand called?
Kiwis.
Okay.
I think, hopefully. I'm a Brit living in New Zealand. I moved twice from home 6 years ago. In the love of my life, I'm going to stop.
That was good, though.
Really hard, though. Yeah, I know. The love of my life, and I've created. Oh, sorry. Let me just start over, okay? You're Brit living in New Zealand. Got it. I moved away from home 6 years ago and love the life I have created for myself out here. When I was 13 years old, my parents got divorced. They both moved into different apartments, and we shared our time equally between them. Monday, Tuesday at Dad's, Wednesday, Thursday at Mom's, alternating time each weekend. Same deal with Christmas. If one year was at Dad's with his family, the next year would be at Mom's. They did not have any contact with each other to the point where I became a courier service for their divorce papers.
That's stressful.
Terrible. Oh my God. When you made it about you, it only took one paragraph.
Yeah, but the divorced parents, I always like with the back and forth to each other's houses. That always seemed so unpleasant when my friends would have to do that. It's like because you know how like we went packing for the road at a certain point, like we're just like so tired of doing it.
Exhausting,
It's like packing for the road once a week.
Your life.
every
The
weekend.
road is
Yeah.
your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds like it blows. Although I had a couple friends with divorced parents, and they said like the parents had already remarried, and they got like 2 full Christmases,
Right.
and 2 full birthday celebrations, and I was like, they seem pretty excited about that part. My mom ended up dating the best man at their wedding. Ooh, scandalous. This is part of the reason I do not go to her for advice. Yeah, we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
I love her, but she is very judgmental, and I do not trust her decisions a lot of the time. My dad spent most of his post-divorce life going to work, coming home, and watching movies. He doesn't have a lot of friends, if any, and is quite reclusive. This was the deal until I moved to Australia when I was 24. When we left secondary school, we could go do whatever we wanted, but I still tried to split my time evenly between the two of them and continued to alternate Christmases. The only time they spoke to each other during this time was when either myself or my younger brother were struggling. In January 2023, oh wow, it's recent, I received a message on Facebook Messenger from my mom. The message was a photo dump of my mom with my dad in my dad's apartment, sucking his dick. No, I just added that part, just kidding. And he was kissing her cheek. No other context, just the photo.
This family doesn't know how to
Wow,
communicate.
they really suck at communicating. Which I know the
Jesus.
Brits, I've heard, they're famously kind of like, don't talk about it, doesn't exist. For the most part, not always. This sent me through a loop. I had no idea if they were just hooking up.
Can you imagine your parents just sent you a photo of
gross.
them hooking up?
Yeah. Ugh. Do that on your own time, whether they were back together or how long it has been going on for. Due to the time difference, I was also at work when I received this message.
No.
It sounds dramatic, but it really upended my life. I mean, that's a big deal after that long.
Yeah.
And it really, the way you're describing it, obviously I knew they got back together because of their subject line, but it really seemed like they were going their separate ways. And it made me reconsider the relationship I was in at the time. Our relationship was on the rocks anyways, as we were very different people, and I ended up breaking up with my partner at the time 2 months later. Looking back, I see that I'm probably an avoidant personality. I'm hyper-independent and needed time to process this by myself. Probably also part of the reason I moved to the other side of the world in the first place. I could not have moved farther away from the two of them if I tried. On the surface, it seems like a dream situation, one that is written about in movies of a broken family uniting. This is the response I get whenever I tell people about my parents getting back together. I think that it just sounds like a mindfuck, honestly. I think that would be the case if you weren't relieved when your parents got divorced in the first place. I vividly remember them telling us they were getting divorced and thinking, well, at least they'll be happy now. Mm-hmm. In the ramp up to their separation, there was so much hostility, anger, resentment, and arguing in the house. As heartbreaking as it is to have your parents split up, I genuinely thought it was for the best. Totally. They're now saying that the reason they got divorced in the first place was because my mom thought my dad was having an affair. I mean, she never got like confirmation on that. She just pieced. I guess they just didn't talk about it for 15 years. Wow, your communication in your family is not good.
Wow.
They keep saying they wish they'd never got divorced in the first place. Wow, that's very rare. And they're planning on getting remarried next year. And
They went out onto the dating scene and they were like, this is tougher than we thought.
Yeah, let's just go back to us. A year and a half later, I'm finally at the point where I'm okay with it. I was initially against them getting back together, about getting remarried, but I realized I'm an adult and see them as these emotionally immature people with terrible communication skills who I love, but do not need to allow their choices to affect me anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes,
Yay,
yes.
good job. If they do get remarried and it falls apart again, I won't be at the center of it.
Yeah.
I have my own life, can love them from afar, and I'm trying to slowly rebuild a relationship with the two of them whilst protecting myself at the same time. I just want to say thank you to the three of you for creating this podcast every week.
Well, two of us created it and then one kind of yucks it up on the side. So
listening to your advice, that's very true.
That was a little heavy of a listen. We love Mike and we appreciate Mike,
but he's just here. You know what I'm saying?
Never claimed to be a creator.
That's true.
We know you did.
And if you did, you'd be fired. So listening to you're not.
I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that.
Listen, sorry. Should we take that out? I feel bad because I don't want to keep bringing that up. Can you take that out? Sure.
We're all really growing this week. We all
made petty comments that we want Mike to edit out.
Our growth is really gonna make Mike have to work longer tonight. And
thanks for being here, Mike.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Listening to your
non-creator, but adding nonetheless.
Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so she just compliments us. Actually, my parents, growing up, one of the many things that really fucked me up as a child was the screaming, and I mean screaming at the top of their lungs, fighting my parents would constantly be doing as a child. I couldn't take it. I was so sensitive to it. It made me want to explode. It made me feel like my skin was falling off. Like it was so jarring and awful. That said, they told me they were separating my mom told me they were separating when I was 11. I was really sad, but I was like, oh, does this mean I don't have to listen to that fighting? I was so excited. So I was very similar to you. My parents ended up talking to each other pretty much throughout the whole thing, I think. They were separated for 3 years. They got back together.
Oh, I didn't realize it was a 3-year separation.
Yeah, it was all of middle school.
Yeah.
And they got back together. And I was excited, but I was hesitant at the time, and I didn't understand that this was why, but it was because like how fucking scarring it was that they screamed at each other. Like I am somebody that I can certainly yell as a person, but like when I hear people yelling, I want to like roll into a ball and die. I hate it. So I was a little weirded out about them getting back together. I don't talk to either of my parents anymore. So I don't really know how the relationship is, so I can't really comment on it. But either way, they're their own people, you know? So I have heard of parents getting back together in terms of like mine getting back together, being separated for 3 years, but your parents seem like they were like on their way to divorced life. Like they were really fully living divorced lives. And then they just came back to each other.
I feel like most times when this like the same people get back together when it's a marriage and like they're older, I feel like it actually usually does work out.
Yeah.
But
They really thought about it.
the only thing I would say is like maybe tell them to not just spring things on you via Facebook message and maybe have a better, more civilized form of communication.
Exactly.
Not that you asked, but just a suggestion.
Say perhaps mom and dad with this new leaf that you're turning in your relationship, you can also highly consider the way that you communicate and how you just don't give us proper heads up on things.
Yeah, but you have the right grasp on it. You're still extremely young, but like one of the biggest parts of growing up is realizing that your parents are just also flawed, regular people who are learning as they go as well. And you have to allow them and give them the grace to grow and make mistakes, and they shouldn't really be held to higher standards, you know?
Yeah, it's true. None of us is perfect. To be human is to be a little fucked up in some ways in your own unique little ways.
Yes.
Guys, catch us on the road. I'm going to be headlining Springville, Utah, October 20th and 21st. Bridgeport, Connecticut, November 2nd through 4th. Chicago, November 10th and 11th. Nashville, November 12th. Springfield, Missouri, November 16th through the 18th. And as always, I have a Patreon where for a very low amount of money per month, you can be on a Zoom with me and a bunch of other people for some group therapy. Just kind of go around and talk about whatever's on your mind. I really like these Zooms a lot. They last for about an hour, 15 minutes. The audio gets recorded and uploaded to my Patreon. So it's kind of like a private advice podcast starring you guys. And it's really, it's fascinating. And people go through shit and then they don't stop going through shit. And it's really been cool. There's been a couple people there that have been coming for pretty much every week for almost 2 years. And it's really cool to see people's stories evolve and to see their healing evolve. And it doesn't have to be like intense shit, you know? Maybe your mom made you feel like you were sick and you weren't sick. Or maybe, you know, you got a shitty coworker and you don't know how to deal with it. But either way, you can come to the table with anything at patreon.com/Krystyna Hutchinson.
And for me, I'm bi-coastal this year, so just between Los Angeles and New York City. Gash, my birthday Gash on September 28th is sold out. Thanks to everyone who bought tickets. See you there. We'll party at midnight. And then I don't think there's going to be a Gash in October. And I think the next one's going to be November 8th. The ticket link might be up already for people who complain that they don't see the ticket link. So maybe just check the Comedy Store website. And then 2024, if you're already planning your 2024, come see me at the DC Comedy Loft in Washington, D.C. That's Thursday, February 29th through Saturday, March 2nd. I know some people have already told me they started buying tickets. The ticket link is available through the Linktree link in my bio. Make sure to follow me at Philanthropy Gal on all social media. That's where I post the most up-to-date things. That's where you know where I am. And if you're in Larchmont, New York, come to my store, Perfectly Centered, 1989 Palmer Avenue. You can also follow that on Instagram at Perfectly Centered Store. Krystyna is at
Krystyna Hutch on all the things.
And Mike.
I'm at Mike Coscarelli.
And then also, of course, listen to Without a Country podcast. It is my news, current events, social issues, a little bit of pop culture podcast. I do it solo. It's so fun. We've been talking a lot about Scientology, especially with the Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher letters for Danny Masterson, getting real deep into that. And obviously the 2024 presidential election is right around the corner. So we've been talking a lot about that lately. And it's going to be very interesting to see how things turn out. So subscribe to the YouTube for that and follow us on Instagram at Without a Country Podcast. All right.
I wanted to bring up Danny Masterson and how exciting it is
that a rapist did jail time.
A rapist gets 30 years to life
when
for
does that
raping.
happen?
I don't know.
That never happens.
No, I know. That's why it was.
What did Harvey get sentenced? Harvey Weinstein?
I mean, yeah, he's in prison for the rest of the time, I think. But
that's good.
There was a lot of other things going on. Yeah. Yeah, no, it
was really exciting that he got 30 years to life for raping. I mean, I'm like, thank God finally somebody else, the rest of the rapist's life is negatively affected, much like the rest of the life of the person who was on the unfortunate end of the criminal, you know?
Yeah, no, that's what I said. When I posted it on my Instagram stories, I was like, it's honestly like, I'm happy to see a rapist do this much jail time during my lifetime. Like it feels like, oh, wow, change actually has happened during our lifetime. Because I think it's really easy to be like, things aren't happening fast enough. All the work that, the feminist movement, the Me Too movement is doing isn't working. But like, it really is.
Yeah.
And of course, anytime
we want it to go faster, but
of course, anytime you take one step forward, you do have to take 2 steps back, obviously. But that's just because, like, if the changes that we were implementing as a society were easy, we would have done them a long time ago.
Totally.
So of course, there's going to be pushback when we say, why do people who rape have to pay for that with jail time? It's like because people want to keep on raping. That's why.
Yeah, they be raping.
So they're going to fight against
rape
it.
one time and then stop raping.
They don't want rules.
Yeah.
They're
They want to be able to
rapists.
do whatever they want.
They're wild
It's a
men.
fucking power thing. It's inserting their power.
rules.
Yeah, rapists don't like rules. Come on, they're raping.
And I will say, speaking of rape, a lot of raping happens in jail.
Yeah.
A lot of raping happens in jail, which is not. It's not that I wish that on him, but I'm like,
I mean,
ugh,
I
okay.
think
he's going to be up.
because-
He's going to be in a hostile environment.
Right, but I think I'm guessing he'll get his own jail cell because of his celebrity status.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, I honestly think that's fair. I think celebrities shouldn't because it is adding this other element that makes it unsafe. And while I do feel like I'm glad he's in prison, I always hope that prison is a place of reform, not a place of further abuse and traumatization.
Totally.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure when you're a celebrity, you get your own, and I do think that you should. So because it's just you can't.
yeah.
You just
motherfuckers be asking for autographs. And
right.
Stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna throw Kelso in general population.
Right. It just feels like not.
It is. This is just a tiny little detail about it that I thought, I always thought he was so hot.
Really.
And then when someone gets me, I always thought Danny Masterson was so
Hotter than Ashton Kutcher?
Yes,
Really?
he's more my kind of hot. He's gruffier, gruffier. Well, now I know because he's rapier.
Yeah.
But I don't think the rapey part is hot, obviously. But it's weird. Like you gotta go. No hot. No, he's not hot anymore.
I mean,
you know?
listen, man.
I really was attracted to him, like in a big way. I just never talked about it because like there's a lot of men
Didn't
like,
really come
celebrities.
up, yeah.
No, there's a lot of celebrities that like. There's a couple of them. Ezra Miller, another piece of shit. That's like a bad person.
He's done like
really terrible things. I was so obsessed.
Oh,
I thought he was one of the
Mike.
hottest.
I caught.
Don't edit that out.
No. I just misspoke horribly.
Yeah,
I
what'd
just
he
meant
say?
that like Ezra Miller is like breaking into people's houses.
Oh, he's like
and
kidnapping people and shit. Yeah. He's like running a cult.
Not to say that what Danny Masterson did wasn't a crime. That's not what I meant.
I didn't think that's.
I said
didn't
real
take it that way.
crime by accident, like an idiot.
No, I thought you meant like in comparison to like things that one could do that would get you in trouble. He like legit is criminal. As is Danny. You know, they're both criminal. But I will say it was very exciting to see him get that much jail time. I do wish him the rest of his life of reforming and healing. I have officially moved on from firefighters.
Whoa. What happened? You heard them speak?
No, I watched a rugby game.
Oh, so now you're into rugby
players.
players.
Rugby players, I like a thick man, like thick thighs.
I love
like,
thick thighs too.
Oh, and a guy with an ass.
Yeah.
I just like. There's very few body types of a man, like a physique that a man could be in that could just make me like really aroused and turned on immediately. I feel like women are just so beautiful that it's just. I wish that as somebody who's only attracted to men.
Why are you giggling?
Women are just so beautiful.
We
are.
We are. We're fucking great. We're much more fun to look at than you guys.
So dismissive.
We are so beautiful.
Well, we're
I am beautiful, no matter what they say.
more enjoyable to look at, and I'm
You're
saying this as
beautiful
a straight
too, Michael.
woman.
you.
But wouldn't you agree, Michael, that women are more beautiful to look at and enjoyable to look at than men?
I do think that, but
I
I
think that,
wouldn't.
and I'm straight.
I wouldn't say that as like women are so beautiful and men are just horrific animals.
Well, that's not what I
didn't
meant.
say that.
That's not what I meant. I mean, it's likelier that you're going to be wowed by a woman's looks than you are by a man's looks.
That's
and I mean,
true.
there have been some men that I've met in person that I think are so fucking hot and good looking that I can't be cool around them. But it's so rare. It's
Yeah,
so
that's
rare.
me if I ever meet Penn Badgley.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna
yeah.
say, oftentimes those guys have like feminine features.
Well,
like Brad
not
Pitt
rugby
kind
players.
of. Well, right, sure.
Dope.
Wow,
So
he had to
rugby
immediately
players.
undermine Penn Badgley. Someone's feeling insecure.
Do you not think?
No, I don't think Penn Badgley is nothing about him to me is feminine because I
No,
don't like
I don't think
feminine
he's
qualities.
feminine.
in
Interesting.
guys.
Okay.
I think he's very
do.
Brooklyn.
Yes. Is that maybe what you're reading? But rugby players, oh my God, you got to watch a rugby game.
I was like,
they
you were
all
watching it on
wrestle each
TV?
other. Yeah, they all wrestle each other and they touch each other's butts and they're all thick. And then a lot of them are thick, so thick, like what an ass. And they have a hot face. And I'm like, holy shit, if I was there, I'd touch your butt and I'd get in trouble.
That's how I feel about like hockey players, and then they probably have good butts too because of the way you have to.
The way that you skate.
Yeah, on your like it's like almost ski like.
I've never bothered to watch a rugby game until yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever. I can't believe why have I been into firefighters this whole like rugby players were there the whole time.
Well, I was just always surprised that
Because firefighters are hit or miss, you know.
Well, with firefighters also, I just feel like they wouldn't be really like you like a really emotional guy, and that's not often what you're finding in firefighters.
After speaking with Rachel Feinstein, I'm realizing that firefighters aren't as the in-depth emotional communicators that I have made them to be in my head.
I'm in the middle of my act, and I was telling a story that I talk about on stage about my husband, how his nickname for me is Big Guy. That's awesome. What he calls me. He doesn't understand why I wouldn't want to be called Big Guy. He's like, come on, you're fun. You're big gay.
And they're,
and that firefighters mixer I went to.
Political views, I would say probably not going to be super aligned.
Now, rugby players, who knows? I mean, rugby is not it's mostly played outside of America, so it's not,
So their political views don't matter, and everyone knows that.
Right.
Exactly. European, that's all I care about. Fuck it, I don't care.
They have a king in New Zealand or what?
Yeah, they don't deal with the same shit.
Right.
But yeah, I can't believe I've been sleeping on rugby this whole time.
Did you talk about the mixer on the show?
Yeah, it was years ago.
Oh, years ago. Oh, I thought, okay.
This guy, I went up to the only hot guy, because like I said, firefighters, hit or miss.
Right.
There was one that was hot, and I was like, all right, let's try this. And then he says, the bartender is so fucking retarded. She just made me a vodka soda. I asked for a tequila soda. And I was like,
I remember this now.
And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. Honestly, I was like, God damn it. And then I was like, oh, wait. You're expecting firefighters to be like poetic.
I've literally never.
No.
I didn't know that. I never met one before.
I've never met
one before.
A
I just looked
firefighter
at
who
them.
didn't sound like an ashtray talking in a cartoon.
Well, now me either.
And I like that. So it was funny to me because I was just like, oh, firefighter personality, very on board.
I don't like the blue collar.
I love that
type of gruffy guy in that way. In the way that a New York firefighter is. Like, I totally see the appeal, but I personally, not my thing. I just like the rescuing because I want to be rescued.
And I like being roasted in my own relationship. Like, that doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah. I don't know anything about the personality of rugby players. They don't wear helmets. Or pads. I mean, imagine they wear a dick pad.
That's why I was surprised that you are into rugby players.
They're
but
so
knowing
hot,
your
dude.
feelings about football. Because it's the
Well,
same
that's
sport.
what I'm saying. I only have watched one game of rugby, so who knows?
But it's European, so it's softer.
That's what I imagine.
It's not softer.
I mean, it's pretty
more violent
brutal.
than
Like the
football.
scrum that they do,
Yeah.
they all just put their heads against the other one's butt. Like, it's weird. It's weird.
It's more violent than football, and they don't wear pads.
Yeah.
Rugby players. Me Googling.
Beat wife. See if that.
Beat wife?
Yeah, just to see.
Well, that's definitely going to come up. Oh, they're really not wearing a lot of anything.
I know. Very short shorts and very thick thighs.
Beat wife.
Dude, a guy with thick thighs like that. Oh, so hot. It's so hot. It's so manly to me.
Okay.
I don't know.
So this is he a rugby player though? This is from BBC Rugby Union. Mohamed House, I definitely said that wrong. France prop given 1 year jail sentence for hitting wife.
Yeah.
Just a hit?
Yeah, I can't actually.
Wow.
I'm actually
France
stunned at
really
the.
putting that whip down.
Oh, France, you're not cool anymore.
Yeah. What the fuck, France?
Whoa. Okay. France a little uptight.
You do not hit the wife.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
Wow. Okay. Well, so we had a couple things to go over on the show today, but the first thing that we talked about doing is we actually here on Guys We Fcked just came back from a 2-week summer vacation, unprecedented in
We've never done it in
Obviously-
11 years.
Obviously, we didn't skip any episodes we pre-recorded, but we just never have these breaks, and it felt
great.
Felt great.
Great. Because you got to miss the thing that you do.
Yeah.
You got to like it, and to keep liking something, you got to step away from it and come back.
It felt like months, honestly.
It felt like 3 months. Not 3 months, but
it just
a
felt
month.
so long. Like when it was
it
like
was
the second
weird.
week, I was like, oh, we're still not going back. This is crazy.
Right. Because when you've done something that often, like we've never taken 2 weeks in a row off, ever.
It was also alarming how long 2 weeks of like semi-vacation felt to me, but that's another topic for another day. Anyway, so we wanted to do like what I did on my summer vacation, the way you would do in grammar school, but obviously with a little bit more of a complex adult spin. You know, kind of I pitched to Mike and Krystyna kind of like, what did we learn about ourselves? Did anything change? Because I do think it is like it's a season that feels different than the other seasons. Because I think we're still applying that school calendar to it. You know,
100%.
you just never really get out of that.
Yeah. Because I'm always super like ready to go in the fall. Like I always feel so motivated just naturally because it's the fall.
I feel
October's
like
the best.
I feel like the year
love
is
October.
really only the year of productivity is basically like September through mid-November, and that's the only
and that's
time
it.
things are really getting done, because you know the first couple months of the year you're just getting started, you're healing from whatever happened last year. Then summer comes, obviously nothing's happening
fuck that.
there.
Yeah, don't do anything
You
summer.
know, so then it's basically that's why September and October are always so busy, because I think everyone also agrees that that's the only time when things are getting done.
Yeah, and I think I like that.
And it's also hectic because then my birthday, obviously national holiday, and then
Halloween. Your other favorite holiday.
I mean, it gets crazy.
Yeah,
it gets crazy.
Yeah.
So, who wants to start off
With what we learned or what we did or both?
But all in one, whatever it means to you.
My boyfriend and I did a 10-day road trip of sorts where we drove to Toronto for his a family wedding that he had. And for about 4 or 5 days, I was with his family. His family's awesome. I got to say.
That's good.
I pretty much, except my first boyfriend. Sorry, Greg. But every other boyfriend after that, fantastic families.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's always been such a safe haven for me because it's always been really weird to be like, holy shit, I can be myself in front of a mom. Wild.
I was like, fucked up follow-up question. Do you think they're awesome because in comparison to your family?
100%. Yeah. Because they like, but honestly though, this boyfriend and my last boyfriend, fantastic parents.
Yeah, you really liked Steven's family. Right?
I loved his family. Beautiful human beings. And Colin's family is just, I would be friends with them if I didn't know that, like if they weren't related. That's how great they are.
That's amazing.
Really wonderful. Very funny. I mean, Irish people are just funny. They're all Irish, and most of them. And it was really nice. It was really nice to be around a functional family. A lot of them I had spent with Christmas with them. During the wedding, I did get, it was half the groom's party was Irish, and then the bride's party was Italian. So it was a really fun wedding. It was very loud, very like, and the Italian culture and the Irish culture were really, they were present. It was really lovely. And I don't know everybody's story, but I just know from the outside what I saw. When I go to a wedding, I don't know if you do this, Corinne, but I kind of see myself in the bride's, like, oh, if I was the bride, would I like what the decision, like, because I like to kind of put myself in her shoes just to see, you know, what I like and what I don't like. I've always done that.
But I mean, isn't the bride making most of the decisions of what happens at the wedding?
Yeah, but just for me of like, oh, that's like, oh, those are the flowers. Oh, I like the flowers. Like I always kind of just put myself in the position of like, oh, if I ever get married, what would I have the flowers look like?
I'm usually just hyperventilating, like, get me out of here. Get me out of here. I feel suffocated.
This wedding was really fun, and it seemed like all the families were just very functional. There was a father-daughter dance, there was a mother-son dance, and that was rough. I didn't expect to. I had to go outside and excuse myself, but I was really good because those were normally the times where I would feel bad for myself and expect my romantic partner to read my mind about why I felt bad and to try really hard to make me feel better. And if that exact thing didn't happen, I would act like a brat. And so that was like the more like early 20s something, Krystyna, but I did that for a while.
Yeah,
And
I mean, the
so-
daddy-daughter dance is absolutely, I find it to be absolutely devastating now. I mean,
yeah.
And even though I literally wouldn't want to do that, and I think the whole I think it's actually weird.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think
guess
it's
I
weird,
can
and
see
I
that.
wouldn't want to have done it with my dad.
Yeah, even still though.
But it's still devastating.
Yeah. And I saw her and her dad, it seemed like they had a really beautiful relationship. Like she was his little princess kind of thing. It seemed really cute. So that was, but I excused myself to like go cry. And I was like, hey, the parents you got were the parents you asked for. And this lifetime is not the lifetime that you get to have that you get any nurturance from your parents. And that's okay. And I really took care of myself. And I didn't rely on anybody except for me. And I did the work. And I was only outside for like 20 minutes. And then I came back and it was all good.
Did Colin know what was going on?
Yeah, he goes, where were you? He was like, I just had to go outside for a little bit. He goes, oh, the family stuff got you. And I was like, yep. And then that's all we said. And that was all that needed to be said. Because I didn't want to also indulge. I can indulge sometimes in it. And then it re-stirs it. So that was really lovely. I spent a lot of time in nature, and one of the things that I learned about myself is that I want a second home. But I made a vision board. I want a second home in the woods. I want a second home made of glass, surrounded by forests. There's these houses called Binney houses, I believe. Basically, it's like I think they're really expensive because Robert Downey Jr. has one. But I learned about this type of house. Oh, it's called. Well, this is this one company, Binney Shells. So what they do is
Those are so cool.
They blow up a inflatable tent that is the shape of whatever your house is going to be. As it blows up, they put the wire over the shape. They pour concrete, and then after the concrete dries, they deflate the thing, and then that's the structure of your house. And then you put in, and they're gorgeous.
Yeah, that looks really cool. I love an all glass house in the woods.
Yes, right?
Amazing.
So I'm like, I want to buy a plot of land in the woods somewhere, not too far out of the city, but far enough that I feel like I'm getting away. And I want a glass house so bad.
Oh, so you would have it built for you specifically?
I would like that. I don't know how expensive these houses are.
I have no idea.
But it seems like a really efficient way to build a house. It's eco-efficient, and also like it's not going to catch on fire because it's made of concrete. Obviously, if you have wood inside of your house, then that's susceptible to it. But I learned, So I learned.
Wait, what would the catching on fire have to do with building? Or just like while
Just like, I
building
don't know,
if it was going to catch on fire?
Yeah, just like, like if you had a concrete house and the town that you lived in got, engulfed with forest fire, like would the concrete house go down? I don't think it would.
So a safety precaution.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So yeah. So
it's not a log cabin. So that's
correct. Because I did want a log cabin, but I don't. So in conclusion,
because of the fire?
Yeah. The Maui shit's fucked.
But there should have been a lot of things in play as far as alarm systems and stuff. So there's a lot of problems surrounding that. But yes.
So in conclusion, my summer vacation, I realized that I have the ability to comfort myself in a really healthy way without feeling bad for myself and victimizing myself further. And I want a home in the woods made of concrete and glass.
Amazing.
Pretty good.
Amazing.
How was your summer vacation?
My summer vacation, okay, so first thing is I summered so hard this summer.
Yes, I want that for you so bad.
And even that was still me working at my store a lot.
Right.
That's Matt Rife's fault though.
Fuck you, Matt.
Long story. I'm happy.
Come on the podcast
honestly,
and then we won't
Matt,
be mad.
I'm extremely happy for your success, and I just hope you continue to be a nice person, as I've heard that you are.
Oh, that's nice.
But listen, I mean, when you look like that, how can I be mad?
I know he's so hot.
He's hot. He works hard.
He's hot. He's funny.
Who's
you, Matt?
mad? Enjoy it.
Yeah,
28.
yeah.
Huh? Enjoy yourself.
Oh, he's 28. Good for you, honey.
Enjoy yourself,
Good
honey.
for you, honey.
Have a great time, honey. Have a
great time, honey.
Every year I come on the podcast and I'm like, I'm gonna actually enjoy the summer this year, and then every year I somehow work harder during summer. I don't get any sunshine. So, I mean, part of the 2 weeks that we had off was I was in Los Angeles, and then I went to Roxbury in the Catskills to celebrate my 20-year friendiversary with Tommy. And I just did a lot of hiking and a couple days that, I was working at night in LA, but in the day I was like, I'm not going to fucking book anything. And of course, that's when opportunities just come to you.
Happen, yeah.
And then I'm just going to literally sit by this pool at Marilyn Monroe's old villa, and I'm going to get tan. And I mean, like, I know it doesn't look, no one's impressed by this, but if you, like, I know me, this is so.
You have some color,
This
which is a
so
lot.
tan for me. My legs are tan. Like, obviously I have makeup on, which is making me lighter, but like, for me, this is the tannest I have been in years. And it was literally like a commitment to like, you are going to go at least for a little bit and enjoy things. And even the time that I spent a lot of time working at my store, but I really liked it. And it did feel kind of like almost having like a summer job at like an ice cream stand or something, because, you know, the town that it's in is delightful. And even though it wasn't a break, it was still a break from, you know, this life that I live. And I'm in a great place with stand up again, because that was like really concerning me for a while, that I felt so disconnected from it, because it's like one of my great, you know, only true loves in this life. And I feel so much, you know, better and healthier with that. Because some people are like, sometimes it just goes away. And I'm like, you can't, this is not a man. I can't let this go this easily.
Yeah.
You know? And then
It is nice to take a break from it and come back, and you're like, oh.
I didn't even take a full break either. I just went a little bit less. I was like, oh, this is totally fine. And also I knew kind of starting Dash at the Comedy Store would really let me know whether or not. And like that show is incredible. I love being at the Comedy Store. Like, just everything is great with that. And it's also nice. I mean, I haven't really had summer has been like death and dying for like several years now. So and there is nothing sadder. Like, the only thing that makes your dad dying sadder is your dad dying during summer, when everyone's like bouncing around
let's
with
go to
their
the beach,
titties
girl.
in their bikini.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like summertime sadness, like Lana Del Rey really captures what it's like being sad during the summer is
rough.
so, it just feels absolutely manic and awful. It feels so bad.
Yeah.
Feeling
It's-
sad
it's
during
interesting.
winter, that's normal.
Yeah, and like it's like when you're sick, you know, when you get really sick in the summer, I don't know if like that feel. You're like, this what that feels wrong. So yeah, experiencing something like death and the happiest time.
Yeah. And then I guess the last part of what I did, I mean, everyone knows that I do this all the time, but like, you know, I was dating someone basically the entire summer. And this is someone who it's someone who I have had a relationship with off and on for the past 10 years. And he was for a long time trying to like get back into my life, but I was like busy, like, you know, caring for my dad and stuff. And so I just had him blocked and everything. And there was never any, he never did anything terrible to me. It was just like, I need to stop this pattern of this, you know, relationship. Because already, like when I met him, I was like 27 and he was like 42. So I've never really known, like, I don't even know what he is like young. I've only known, I mean, not that 42 is old, but I've only known him as like a full adult. And so I went back to that just to see, because it had really been on my mind for a long time. And I wanted to kind of figure that out. And we talked all like a lot summer. We only actually saw each other a little, you know, maybe like for 2 weeks, because he lives in Los Angeles. And it was amazing because every time I've gone back to this person over the years, and it's been like maybe like 2 other times besides the initial 2 years that we dated, but we were never boyfriend and girlfriend, but we were like, you know, pretty consistently seeing each other for 2 years in my late 20s. And I went back to him and he had actually changed. Like he was actually had gone through like incredible emotional growth, is now like a really empathetic person.
Oh, that's great.
Just really self-actualized. And like, that's the person that I was greeted with the first time that I reached out after, you know, several years of not talking. And I was like, wow. And it felt like very just like good and comfortable. I wasn't butterflies or anything like that.
Which is good. That's a good sign.
It just felt like very... Yeah. Whoa, thunder. Ooh. It just felt like really like still and calm. And I remember this one specific instance when we were driving in LA and we were both in his truck. He has a pickup truck, like a man. Ooh. And we were just driving and sitting kind of next to each other silently. And I was like, this just feels different. I've been in the passenger seat of this guy's car so many times. And this is the first time that feels different, and it feels good and different. And then so we saw each other in June, and then, you know, we didn't see each other again until August. And over the course of that time, through phone calls and stuff, like, of course, it's me. So I started to feel suffocated with someone calling me every day. And then also it's like I had kind of like in June maybe healed what needed to be healed. Obviously, I had to tell him about my dad dying and stuff like that. And there was a couple things that had gone on between us that always really bothered me over the years.
Oh, you got closure.
And he, like everything I said, like he offered the most perfect, not staged apology. Like every question I asked, he not only had an answer, but he had a really well thought out answer that really like spoke to, like he was speaking to me in exactly the way that telling me exactly what I needed to hear, but I knew he really meant it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So a few times when people are telling you exactly what you, like every answer was perfect, right?
Yeah.
And so I left off and everything was really, really great. And then, over the couple of, the months or the weeks that we were apart, it just became like monotonous in a way again. More like, because like I'm a person, I don't know, I don't really want to talk to someone about like, I don't want to hear a narration of your day,
Yeah.
I need someone,
unless something really significant happened.
Yeah, I need someone who's kind of been able to look at life in a different way. I want to talk about concepts and ideas and not like the monotony of life. Like I know the monotony of life. We all live the monotony of life. Like we don't need to share that with each other. And I think that's like a big part of relationships that has always felt like a burden to me.
Totally.
I don't want to share the monotony of life with you. I want to discover new concepts and go on adventures and go new places and really take risks. Like if I'm going to be with someone, Jesus, this is the loudest,
crazy thunder.
This is such a
So
crazy
weird.
storm.
It's so light. It's like still light out. Well, it's 6 p.m., but still.
And it really, really, going back to this person, because this is like one of the few people that I was like, well, if it can't work with this person, I don't know who it can work with. And I didn't think this was going to be like a life-shattering love. I just think that I was like, okay, this could be like a really good, safe place. And there was a part of me that deeply wanted to go back to someone who knew me before any of this happened. And there's very few people who I would be interested in. And he's like the only person I'm like, you knew me when I was like like a kid just starting comedy, and that felt nice. And I know it was like interesting for him to see me like, he's like, you are like a full woman now. And I was like, yeah, I'm a full woman now. But what it kind of revealed to me was that I knew this was like a fear. I wrote him a letter, but I was like, this is a fear that I have secretly felt and quietly voiced to a few close friends over the past several years. But it's like, relationships just aren't for me. And I think it's been really hard for me to come to terms with that because I love winning and I love succeeding. And in modern society, for a straight woman to fully succeed, to fully win, from the perspective of the outside, not from my perspective, she needs to have a partner. And so what going back to this guy taught me was like, and I went into therapy, like I broke up with him and I went into, we were never official, but I like ended it. I flew back from LA, literally ended it immediately. I was like, I had a panic attack in the Delta Lounge because I just felt so
suffocated.
He told me he loved me and it was just no. I don't know how to explain it other than
your body was telling you.
It was just no. It wanted to be around me all the time. And I was like, I felt like I was gonna swell up and have just like stuff on my face, and like I just couldn't handle it. And I'm like, that's what it is. I'm like, I'm like, am I picking the wrong people? I'm like, no, it's just like the structure of relationships as society sees it. And this is not saying like I will never be fit for a relationship, but it's. I have known that I need someone who sees relationships in a really, really unique way. Someone who is comfortable with not cohabitating with me, who is comfortable going off and doing their own life. And then we come back together, periodically. And that is just the way it has to be. And this person even like at one point referred to the way I see relationships. I remember he flippantly said at one point, he's like, but like a real relationship, not the way you see relationships. Basically meaning like the way that I don't want to cohabitate. Like so many men have such an issue with this. And so I just had like, I have to stand my ground on this. Yeah. And, and I kind of always, you know me, like I always have a boyfriend and I never really want a boyfriend. I'm like, why do I do that? But it's like just because I want to stay winning. And it's almost because
interesting.
It's almost because when I am single, people are so distracted by the fact that I am single, which is their own shit, not my shit, that they don't pay attention to the things that I want them to see, right? The things that I treasure about myself that I wish everyone can see. And I see that in so many single women. When you are a single woman in the universe, in the world, especially at 37, people are so hyper fixated on your singleness that they can't see all the shit that you're offering to the world. And I think I subconsciously took that in and I was like, well, I'll always have a boyfriend because it's easy for me. It really is. It's easy for me to have a boyfriend. It's not a problem. I can always get one. And when I have one, it makes everyone else pay attention to the other things that I want to showcase. So it was like this tool that I was using. But in the winning societally, I was losing. I'm losing myself. I'm losing my freedom. I'm losing my space to do whatever the fuck they want. And men shame you for not having a boyfriend to keep themselves in a position of power and value. And I really do feel that way. And women do it. And women shame you for not having a boyfriend because they've been convinced by men. And also, I think many people genuinely need and want partners, but like they're like, I need this, so everyone else must need this too.
Yes, exactly.
And it's just not true for me, and nothing's wrong, and I'm not hiding anything. And like, and so I presented this like aha moment to my therapist. I was just like, it took me so long to figure out because I am basically never affected by what other people think of me. I am never affected by society's standards. And that's why I couldn't get to the bottom of this because I was like, that's what it is. I was like, you love succeeding and winning so much that you needed that this is this one prize that you always had to have just so everyone would fucking lay off you.
Right.
When you yourself did not feel like that. Every time I have a boyfriend, I feel like I'm losing every single time. I always feel like I'm losing.
Yeah.
Every time.
And I've witnessed you in relationships and
I'm
it doesn't
losing.
seem like you want them.
I'm losing every time. And so I'm like,
that's
but
interesting.
I didn't know why. I'm like, that's why. It like literally it like washed upon me. And I wrote him this, I wrote this person this very long email because when you're breaking up with someone, like they interrupt you a lot and stuff. And I was like, it feels like a cop out in some ways, but I'm like, I really knew exactly what I wanted to say. And it really wasn't about him. Even if I wanted a traditional relationship, I don't think that was the person for me anyway. And I still really value him. And I'm so glad that I reached out again because now I have no ill will towards this person.
You have this aha moment too.
But yeah, and I hate to drag someone else's feelings into it so that I can
life,
have an aha moment. But
of course, that's not you.
It was so, and I just knew I'm like, this is the person to, because I'm like, you know what, it should have worked with this person.
And you've been a part of so many other people's aha moments, and I'm like, fucking someone give you an aha moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. And so it was just very interesting. Well, and then of course, my therapist was like, I have this thing. I'm so proud of this, realization I've had. I feel free. I feel lighter. I feel at peace with everything.
What'd she say?
And then she goes, well, would you feel that way if it was James or like something with brought up James? And I go, what? No, we were having we were having a nice day. What are we doing? And I mean, it did make me question. Listen, like, I don't know. I mean, I think what she was presenting was like, basically like, she's like, you've never described a love or I don't want to say admiration, but like anything like the way that you've described with what you had with James. And I was like, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But I was like, it
didn't work out.
What can I do? I was like, if he came back and like asked to talk to me, I would be receptive to it. But I just don't feel like I can reach out to him. And also, what is to be done? I don't really know. I'm not saying no, but I just don't know the answer to that.
Yeah,
Kirsten. No, I love Kira. I'm literally always so happy to talk to her. I love her.
Wow, what a cool revelation.
So that's what I learned about myself. And then this, so that was that. And then just the reward of actually being able to enjoy summer, which seems like such a little thing, but
not
like
for you.
In
Not
therapy,
for you. I'm so happy for you, Corinne.
One of the main things I work on in therapy is literally having fun, which is, I know it's an insane thing to say, but like I was so proud of myself for like really enjoying summer and going to the beach and seeing Paula and spending time with Tommy. And like, I really worked really hard on that.
Yay.
And it was fun.
That's amazing.
Michael, what did you do on your summer vacation?
I built a podcast network and a studio.
Hell yeah.
That's incredible.
That's
Say it with a
amazing.
little more confidence.
Congratulations.
That's incredible achievement.
It's not obviously it's not like officially launched yet, even though we're using the studio to work on shows. Krystyna's
Bringing back the voices in our heads.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, we can announce it here first. Absolutely.
Oh, I thought you had talked about it a little bit. No.
Yeah.
We've been working on it
maybe,
for a little bit.
But it's going to come out September 25th. Monday, September 25th is going to be the first episode of The Voices in Our Heads. And Michael's studio. Very proud of you, Mike. You crushed it. You know, you've been working in the podcast world for a long ass time.
Yeah.
And you've really gathered what works and what doesn't, and it's fucking kudos on you. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. And there's a lot of people, obviously, that are in my life that kind of told me that it should have happened a while ago. But the part of the thing that I've learned, I think,
You're still young.
I'm still young, but in this experience, I've also picked up the knowledge to understand that, like, as long as you're working towards something, things will happen at the point where they're actually ready for you to do. I wouldn't have been ready to do this at any other point in my life.
Correct.
So I just and part of it is because it's so much work and there's a lot of money that had to go into it. So last year when I was looking at like, how am I going to spend all this money that I made, I spent it by like starting a business where I could have, sometimes I go back and look at some watches and I say, man, I could have had that one.
Yeah.
I could have had that one. But I put it into this studio and everything. And
you invested in your own dreams.
100%.
There's nothing more
It's
beautiful
incredible.
than that.
It's all
And you know
about-
what? That's
Yeah.
also very sexy.
It is.
Well, thanks.
I know that's not what you meant it to be, but I'm saying like the byproduct is like, wow, that speaks volumes about a human being.
Well, and
a man.
It's nice to have something to show for it after all these years. And I mean, in some ways, in terms of like social interactions, family time, a lot of the things that Corinne, I think, was working on this summer for herself, I feel like I didn't have a lot of that for really the whole year. This was just, last summer was kind of about learning how to do certain things, learning about cameras and just how to set all this stuff up so I can like actually make it happen, gain the knowledge that I didn't have. And this summer was about implementing it. So I'm hoping that next summer is the harvesting,
Totally.
or it's like,
That's a great-
puts me on the path towards
great.
it.
Yeah.
So I've
That's
kind
awesome.
of accepted the fact that a lot of this summer, like this was the summer where I was going to miss a lot of things with people. And I was kind of just like, it's all right. Like, hopefully if this goes the way that you're hoping, this is just for one summer and you just kind of locked in. And so, I mean, that's the growth that I think is there. And also I have been outside of that, just in terms of interpersonal relationships, I have been working on sort of forgiving people. There's only, with the stress of starting this operation, there's only so much room for things to think about. and
Which is
things
kind of nice
to ruminate over,
sometimes
yeah.
to not to not dwell for a little bit.
Right. And like, I would rather it be, thinking about things that are either creatively fulfilling, creatively frustrating, or business problems that I have to solve. And I would rather them not be, did I either do something bad to somebody or am I holding on to something?
Totally.
So I have really made an effort to work on forgiving people, about even little things that I feel, felt scorned by, whatever.
Yeah.
Things that I was upset about. I've been trying to let
I love
them
when
go.
you present
Resentments.
scorned. When Mike brings up score and something really went down.
Yeah, listen, I mean, like,
You're just naked on the floor.
I don't think
all
I'm the
out of
type
faith. Hey.
Good song.
I don't think I'm the type of person that holds on to a lot, but I think if I get hurt bad by somebody, and that doesn't mean only romantic.
Yeah.
I've had,
If you feel like you got.
I've had ex-employers that I feel
I
really
feel like
strongly
the
about.
Italian jersey in both you and I really holds a grudge, Michael.
And that's why we have to work.
I hate to step in and rain on your self-actualization parade.
I know, but that's why it was worth working on this summer.
For sure.
Yeah. Clear your head.
So, I have forgiven a lot of people for a lot of things and I feel good about it. And I'm just kind of hoping that the next, like the latter half or the middle to latter half of my 30s is just more, what's the word? I don't even know what word I want to use, but
Peaceful.
More better.
More great.
Just I don't want to be a person that's tortured for the rest of my life by
Yes,
like
inner peace.
yes.
No one
Peaceful,
likes a tortured
peaceful.
45-year-old, and we know
No
a lot of
one.
them.
Yes.
Well, some do, and then you get in a terrible toxic relationship with them, and then you realize, why did I do this? But yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Inner peace,
Ooh,
baby.
A
It's what's for
tortured
dinner.
45-year-old.
Yeah, so we don't want that.
A 25-year-old goes, challenge accepted.
When are you headlining? Okay.
That's great. Wow, we had good summer vacation.
Yeah.
Amazing work, everyone. All right, the thing I emailed you, we'll do it next week because it's
Okay,
going to
yeah.
take a little
Yeah,
too much
yeah, yeah.
time, and I got to get to this podcast
Yeah,
show.
absolutely.
Yeah,
All right, guys.
that's right.
Really excited for you to welcome our guests. They are the co-hosts of the podcast Two Girls, One Blunt. Speak of my language. Please welcome to Guys We Fucked,
JB Simmons and Emily Wade.